Have you ever seen those giant, mysterious stone heads staring out into the void? They're one of the world's most iconic and baffling images. These are the Moai of Rapa Nui, or as most of us know it, Easter Island. This tiny speck of land in the middle of the vast Pacific Ocean is one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth, thousands of kilometers from the nearest continent. Yet, hundreds of years ago, a sophisticated society flourished here, carving and moving these colossal statues without modern technology. How did they do it? And more importantly, what happened to them? The story of Rapa Nui is a captivating tale of human ingenuity, achievement, and a stark warning about our own future. Let's travel back in time. Around 1200 AD, a small group of Polynesian voyagers, masters of the sea, landed on this uninhabited volcanic island. After a journey of thousands of kilometers, they called their new home Te Pito o Te Hanua, which means the navel of the world. The island was lush, covered in palm forests and teeming with seabirds. The Rapa Nui people thrived. They built a complex society, organized into clans, each led by a chief who was believed to be a descendant of the gods. And it was this deep spiritual belief and interclan rivalry that fueled their most incredible achievement. The Moai. These statues weren't just art, they were powerful spiritual symbols. The Rapa Nui believed the Moai held the mana, or spiritual power, of their deified ancestors. By carving and erecting these figures, they believed they could channel that power to protect their clans, ensure good harvests, and bring prosperity. Each Moai represented a specific chief or important ancestor. Imagine the pride a clan feels raising one of these giants on their platform. This drive for prestige likely created a competitive spirit among the clans. Who could build the biggest, most impressive Moai? This competition spurred an incredible era of statue construction that lasted for centuries. Now for the million-dollar question. How on earth did they move them? The average Moai tips the scales at around 14 tons above the weight of 2 huge elephants. The biggest one, Poro, is a geo-dropping 82 tons. They were carved from a single quarry, a volcanic crater called Rano Rahaku. From there, they had to be transported up to 18 kilometers across hilly terrain. For a long time, outsiders assumed they must have used logs as rollers. This theory seemed logical, especially since pollen analysis showed the island was once covered in giant palm trees. But recent experiments and oral traditions suggest a much more clever, almost magical method. The Rapa Nui people have always said the statues walked to their platforms. It sounds like a myth. But what if it's literally true? Archaeologists Terry Hunt and Carl Leppo have championed the walking theory. They think they can rock the statues side to side with 3 ropes in a team, just like moving a heavy fridge. Recreations have shown this is surprisingly effective. The shape of the Moai, with their heavy forward-leaning bodies and D-shaped bases, seems perfectly designed for this kind of movement. This theory doesn't require vast amounts of wood for rollers, which becomes very important later in our story. It also explains why so many fallen Moai are found along the ancient roads. They likely fell forward or backward during their walk. So, the Rapa Nui people were master engineers, but their society didn't last. When Dutch explorer Jacob Brageven stumbled upon Easter Island on Easter Sunday in 1722, he discovered a pretty grim landscape. The forests were gone, the soil was eroded, and the population was a fraction of what it once was. He saw the magnificent statues, but a society in decline. What's going on here? The classic theory, popularized by Jared Diamond in his book Collapse, is a story of ecocide. It suggests the Rapa Nui people, in their obsession with building more and bigger Moai, cut down every last tree on the island. Without trees, they couldn't build seaworthy canoes for deep-sea fishing. Soil eroded from the hills, ruining their agriculture. Resources became scarce, leading to starvation, warfare between the clans, and eventually, the collapse of their civilization. In this version of the story, the clans even started toppling each other's Moai in acts of war, a practice known as huri mohe. It's a powerful and cautionary tale about the dangers of overexploiting a fragile environment. However, just like the mystery of moving the statues, The story of the collapse is more complex than it first appears. Newer research challenges the idea that the Rapa Nui people were solely responsible for their own demise. Yes, deforestation happened, but it might not have been as catastrophic as once believed. Those walking Moai didn't need a forest of logs, and the Rapa Nui were skilled farmers, using techniques like lithic mulching, where they covered their fields with rocks to protect the soil and conserve moisture, allowing them to farm even in poor conditions. So what else could have contributed to their decline? One major factor was the arrival of the Little Ice Age, a period of global cooling that would have made farming on this remote island much more difficult. But the most devastating blow came from the outside world. The arrival of Europeans in the 18th and 19th centuries brought diseases like smallpox and tuberculosis, to which the islanders had no immunity. Epidemics swept through the population, killing thousands. Then, in the 1860s, a truly horrific event occurred. Peruvian slave traders raided the island, kidnapping about 1,500 people, including the king, his heir, and many elders who held the knowledge of their culture, like the ability to read the unique Rongorongo script. Almost half the remaining population was stolen. Only a handful of those captured ever made it back, and they brought smallpox with them, triggering another devastating epidemic. By 1877, the Rapa Nui population had plummeted to just 111 people. It wasn't just a societal collapse, it was near genocide. The combination of environmental changes, climate shifts, and especially the devastating impact of disease and slavery created a perfect storm that shattered their world. Today, Rapa Nui is a territory of Chile, and the descendants of those 111 survivors are working hard to reclaim and revitalize their culture. The Moai are no longer just archaeological wonders. They are a vital link to a resilient past and a symbol of identity for the modern Rapa Nui people. The island is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and tourism is a major part of its economy, though it presents its own challenges in preserving this fragile place. The story of Rapa Nui isn't just a simple tale of self-destruction. It's a complex saga of human brilliance, spiritual devotion, incredible resilience, and tragic misfortune. The stone giants who watch over the island are silent witnesses to it all. They remind us of the incredible things humans can achieve, but also of how fragile our own civilizations can be in the face of environmental change and outside forces. The real lesson of Easter Island might be that we are all living on our own island, planet Earth, and we must be wise stewards of its resources and respectful of one another to avoid a similar fate. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to one of the most mysterious places on Earth. If you loved this story as much as I did, smash that like button and subscribe for more cool history dives. Tell us in the comments which mystery we should uncover next, and I'll see you soon on Forgotten Clues.